But before we do look and see if Leicester are still any good, because obviously last time we left them, we had just lost in the Champions League final. But before we do reveal what's been happening since 5 years after I left them, so obviously FM26 is literally round the corner, but the early access hopefully should be out within the next couple days, fingers crossed. But that is just a prediction. But let's reveal my starting team for the FM26 early access is. I'm still not convinced this is going to be 100%, but I'm going to go over it at the moment. So my starting team will be Manchester United. Why? Because Amorim is absolutely rubbish, and I think I'm a better manager than him. So that is basically why I'm doing it. So let's take a look and see if Leicester are still any good. Hello, welcome to part 22 of the King Power Project, and coming up in today's episode, obviously we are going to take a look at what's been going on at Leicester 5 years after I've left them. I have not looked at them at all, so I'm going in with it completely with a blind eye. I have no idea what's been going on, whether they're still in the Premiership or not. I do not know. They are still in the Premiership. Have they won the Premier League at all? No, the Premier League's been won by Man City and Arsenal in the past 5 years. No third finishes or second finishes. But have they qualified for Europe at all? Obviously, we left in the 26-27 season. We'll look at the league tables first, and we'll do a deep dive into Leicester. So obviously, I left them finishing third. Did we finish third? We finished third. Wow, I completely forgot we finished third. That was overruling the Champions League final, by the way. Obviously, we lost it. That would have been amazing, but unfortunately, lost 1-0 to Real Madrid. I don't know if they qualified for any other competitions. Season after, they did qualify for the Conference League. Don't know whether they won anything. Then, obviously, at the moment, so 2 seasons in a row, they have qualified for back-to-back UEFA competitions. That was without me as their manager. It did go sort of pear-shaped in the 29-30 season, but by the looks of it, they did still qualify for the Champions League. I presume they won something that season, so they were 4 points above relegation zone. Something must have gone on that season. That requires some little bit of investigation. What happened the season after? 10 fans still qualify for Europe. So every season they are qualifying for Europe. Back in the Europa League again. I mean, that's some good going. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the players first. Actually, let's have a look at the managers. So I left. Antonio Conte replaced me, which is quite surprising. He left to Bologna to join Leicester City. Now manager at Barcelona, so he must have done quite well. No, not really. He actually played a lot of games. He only lost 61 games, won 61, which is not too bad. Then Julian Nagelsmann took over him. He got sacked after 233 days. Unai Emery then took over and won quite a lot of trophies. Won the European South American Club Challenge, won the Super Cup as well, and won the Europa League in 2030, which is quite good. Then he got sacked, which is weird because he won the 3 trophies, but they must have had a horrible time in the 2030 season. Then they recently just hired Xavier Garcia, who has won the FA Cup with them, so they are winning. They are winning a lot of trophies. Haven't had any more runners up in the Champions League. Obviously, Europa League, they've won one other competition. Let's have a look at the Conference League. So 28-29, lost in the semi-final. That's unfortunate. Then obviously Europa League. Obviously we won the Europa League. Then they obviously beat Stuttgart in the 29-30 final, and 20-31-32 lost against Dortmund in the quarterfinal. Champions League, they got into in there 27-28. Didn't really go to plan for them. Lost in the first knockout round against Tottenham. Then 30-31 season, they lost to Arsenal in the Champions League quarterfinal. So they're still headed in the same direction. Let's look at the squad, see who's still at the squad. Bearing in mind it's only like 9 seasons into this save, obviously 5 seasons after I've left. So I'm anticipating most of the squad to be the same. So obviously you've still got the likes of Max Aaron's. Actually, let's look at the tactics. So they're playing a 4-3-3. So you've still got Max Aaron's, Badiashile, Christensen, Danilo, Musa, Topolovic, all still at the club. McIntyre, still at the club. I thought he was going to be one of those players that actually left. Still got a Dozy. They've still got Sternow, who's, by the looks of it, developed in quite a decent striker. Then, obviously, on the bench, you have Romsa still at the club. Wow. I was anticipating him to be leaving. Still got Sharon Branthwaite. I mean, he was going to be staying here for the long term anyway. Still got Igor Ogbu. I thought I was going to potentially sold him, but no, he's still at the club. Esposito, that is quite a surprising one because I thought he was going to be on his way out, potentially to a big club, but it appears to me after we have one good goal scoring season after I left, then it's sort of his actually 28-29 was a good goal scoring season. Not in the Prem, but overall 19 goals a season. Then okay, it's still good in the 29-30 season, but just not as many goals in the Premier League. Yeah, 30-31 season, 9 goals in all competitions. Yeah, he's not been great. I think Sternow is probably far the better. Yeah, far better striker. Not really scoring many goals, but I think he's doing well. Anyone else? Obviously, Fatawu is still at the club. Obviously, I fell out of love with him ages ago. Like, I ditched him. Like, obviously, sent him out alone to Galatasaray. He has sort of started making his way back into the first team. Not really doing anything. Josh Dog still at the club, which is quite surprising because he was probably one of our best left backs. Josh Dog and Christensen still battling it out for the left back spot. Absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, you've still got Enoch Mastoras. Is he proper first choice now? I think so. I mean, he came in as a very much unproven youngster, but since then he's playing pretty much week in, week out some seasons. Maybe apart from the 30 or 31 season, which I don't know what happened there. Maybe I'm assuming he may have been hampered by injuries, but yeah, he's progressed into a decent, I think a decent defensive mid from looking at this. But is there anyone missing? That's what I really want to find out. So obviously we left at the 26-27 season, so take a look, see if anyone's left. These are all youngsters, so I don't think we do. Obviously, Wilfred Ndidi left 28-29 season to join CSKA Moscow on a free transfer, which he played 88 appearances for them since they're retired. Anyone else? Bilal Okanuse has joined. My God. He looks like quite a decent player. Plays for Marseille now. He's actually quite a regular starter for him. Actually doing quite well, which I was quite surprised about because he never really broke into our Leicester 11, but he's doing quite well at Marseille. I'm proud of him. Anyone else? Anyone else? I don't think so. Oh, wait, there we go. Kai is now went out on loan to Napoli. Is now at Porto, where he joined them for 35 million. He's made his way. I was going to say he's made his way back to Portugal, but he's never actually played in Portugal. He's doing actually quite well for Porto. I don't know if they're any decent. Reigning champions himself the Portuguese league, so he's got his couple of champions medals under his belt. So that is all very good. Not scoring many goals, but what do you expect from a defender? But his career is progressing nicely. Obviously, Desiree Dewey, obviously I signed him as a youngster. How's he been doing? He's at West Brom. I don't know how good West Brom are. Probably not good at all. My God, Jesse Lingard's their manager. What the hell is going on there? That is quite strange. So he brought him in obviously my final season. Didn't play any games the season after. Played 4 games in 28-29 season. His career has been absolutely tragic. We signed him for 35 million, 30.5 million. West Brom signed him on a free transfer. And he's been doing quite well for them. Obviously, his first season for them was down in the Championship, 6 goals, 7 assists. Followed by, obviously, they then got promoted to he's been doing all right for West Brom. I mean, didn't really live up to his potential, but I think he'll. He's only 27, but I think we might have wrecked his career bringing him to Leicester pretty soon. Obviously, following that, 2030-31 season, Joe Bellingham obviously came in high potential is another one that's gone to Napoli. He went to Napoli on a free transfer 30-31 season. Did all right, 28 goals. No, not 28 goals. That'd be ridiculous. Never really actually got many goals after I left. I presume they stopped playing the Masala or him as a playmaker, which his career didn't really go to plan. I don't think he's as good as his brother, Jude Bellingham, which it's quite sad, but I don't think he was ever that good anyway, Bellingham. I think he had potential, but obviously we just weren't there long enough to see it. But how did he get on at his own spell in Nice? Not too bad. Hopefully he can break back into the Napoli starting 11. Obviously KK we know has joined Porto. Ergin Shakir now at Fenerbahce. So back in Turkey, obviously spent 6 years, 5 seasons, 5 years, 5 full seasons with Leicester. Obviously, I brought him in as the first choice to replace. Who did he replace? I can't remember who he replaced, but he was a pretty decent goalkeeper, conceding quite a lot. But I think he's back to where he belongs. I'm fairly sure he'll just retire in Turkey. Philip Yorkson was his replacement. Obviously, Chelsea goalkeeper now, but they signed him from Real Madrid, which is not too bad. I don't think there's anyone else that I signed that's gone yet. Moving on to the final season, obviously present day. I don't think there's anyone else. We never signed Douglas Luiz. Brooklyn Kasugu is one of our youngsters that came through when I was manager, but no, that's no one else is. So primarily the squad has basically just stayed the same. I suspect if we had gone on a little bit further, it might have been completely wrecked apart. So I think that is basically everything. Have they had any takeovers since I left? So 26-27, so obviously Champions League runners-up. They then finished runners-up in the FA Cup a season after. Carabao Cup runners-up. They've got to a lot of finals. The FA Cup runners-up in 2029. Their owner leaves, so they have a promotion from within. So obviously 2030, they won the Europa League with... who was it with? Unai Emery. Then obviously won the South American Club Challenge with Unai Emery. Super Cup with Unai Emery. Samuel Dozy appointed as vice captain. Wow. FA Cup winners in 2031. They moved to the Jamie Vardy Park. Jamie Vardy. I mean, I don't blame him. He's an absolute Leicester legend. He won them the Premier League title the first time round. That hasn't been the second time round yet. But Jamie Vardy. Wow. Have I moved from icons? No, I'm not even on favourite personnel now. That is quite disappointing. Casey McAteer is on the favourite personnel. I don't think we've got any other signings that I made on the icons, which I don't think so. Obviously, Jamie Vardy, a living Leicester legend. Samuel Edozie is a Leicester legend. Wow. What's he done to deserve that? Not much, but I suppose he has probably made over 200 appearances for Leicester, so I guess it does warrant that. But how the hell is Casey McAteer not a Leicester legend? He's been more of a starter since Samuel Edozie. Obviously came through the Leicester youth system, we sent him out on loan to RC Lens. Didn't realise he was going to come back an absolute world class player. Now can't get out to can't get out of the team. I can't be moved up into icons. That is just absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see him sneaking. Was he an icon when I left? Probably not. But he is the vice captain. I mean, Casey McAteer, if he was the captain for all the cup wins, how is he not? How is he not a legend? Obviously, moved to the Jamie Vardy Park. What's the capacity of that? 54,000. So quite a big stadium. Wow, that's actually obviously we had our stadium capacity increased to 40,000. So that's a pretty decent sized stadium. And most recently finishing runners up to the Community Shield. So realistically, past 5 years for Leicester have actually been quite good. A lot of cup finals. They've reached 2 FA Cup finals, Carabao Cup final, actually 3 FA Cup finals. But they've actually been pretty decent, and they are. I'd say they're in the top. They're in the definitely up there with definitely the top 6. What would they be like predicted to finish this season? So Leicester, they're definitely in the top 10 in the Premier League every season, week in, week out, which is very, very good. It's pretty weird to see that the projected lineup is basically the same as how I left it, apart from obviously Jorgensen and this Donny here, who that's. How the hell did they get him? How the hell did he that's such a class player? What their wages like? That is ridiculous. 300k. I mean, he does look absolutely quality. He's not going to be there for long, but how have they got him? They must have been in for him, like, competing against Barcelona or something, but I mean, the squad is basically the same as how I left it, and that's how it should be, because if it got disassembled, yeah, they wouldn't be qualified for Europe week in, week out. I guess it just shows you how much of a transfer genius I really am by the fact there's not been one single season where they have not qualified for Europe, which is very, very good. So I think that's where it does wrap up for today's episode. So the conclusion is Leicester are very much a European side, which I think will live on for absolutely ages, and I mean ages. The next time they won't qualify for Europe, I'm sure it'll be like in 10, 20 years' time. Obviously, we're not going to go that far in the future. So that's the King Power project all wrapped up. So I will see you all in the next video, where hopefully it should be us having our brand new look at the FM26 early access, starting with Manchester United. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for lots more FM26 content, because that will be coming up very soon. And thank you very much for watching.